Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning and warm greetings to everyone present today in this classroom debate activity with the motion. This House believes that university admission quotas should prioritize underprivileged students over academic achievement. Today's debate consists of two teams, the government and the opposition team. Before we begin, I will briefly explain the debate procedure. First, we will begin the team introduction. Each team has 1 minute to introduce themselves. This can be done either by the first speaker or by the all member of the team. Next, each speaker will present their argument regarding the motion. Each speaker will have 5 to 7 minutes. The speaking order is as follows: Prime Minister, Opposition Leader, Deputy Prime Minister, Deputy Opposition, Government Whip, Opposition Whip, and finally the rapid speaker from the Opposition and Government team. Now, we invite the government team to introduce themselves. Your 1 minute introduction begins now.
Thank you, moderators. Good morning, educators and opposition team. Let me introduce myself. My name is Hilda Sofana as the Prime Minister of the government team. Thank you. Good morning, educators, the opposition team, and ladies and gentlemen. Let me introduce myself. My name is Australasian as Deputy Prime Minister from government team.
Good morning, educators and the opposition team. Let me introduce myself. I'm Devka Hariza as a government team.
Next, we invite the opposition team to introduce themselves. Your 1 minute start now.
Good morning, educators, the government team, and everyone here. My name is Ashan Koba from the leader of opposition team.
Good morning, educator and the government team. Let me introduce myself. My name is Farah Nabila. I'm from the deputy leader of the opposition. Thank you.
Good morning, educator. Good morning, government team. Let me introduce myself. My name is Sofia Tanjung as opposition leader.
With that, the endless debate with the motion, this House believes that university admission quotas should prioritize underprivileged studies over academic achievement officially began. We now invite the Prime Minister from the government team to deliver their argument. Time is yours.
Thank you, moderators, honorable educators, and ladies and gentlemen. Today, I am, as a government team, stand firmly in support this motion. This House believes that university admission quota should prioritize underprivileged students over academic achievement. As the Prime Minister, I will explain first this motion. The university admission quota is the percentage or number of places reserved specifically for a particular group of applicants. Underprivileged students are those from underprivileged socio-economic background who have limited access to quality education, financial stability, mentors, and other learning resources. According to UNESCO, students from low-income backgrounds have significantly limited access to quality education. For example, in many developing countries, students from poor families only have a 60% chance of entering higher education. We compare to students from a more affluent family who have a 90 to 95 chance. This demonstrates that socio-economic background greatly influences access and opportunities in education. Academic achievement refers to standard test score or grades that are typically used as a primary measure in the current selection system. In this motion, we propose that when a quota system is introduced at university, both for scholarship and for social admission, students from underprivileged group should be prioritized, even if their academic performance is somewhat lower than that of students from better off background. As a Prime Minister, and I will make it two main arguments. My first argument is that social mobility is the most important function of education. The goal of education is not just to reward those who already have access, but to provide equal opportunity to those who have fallen behind. Universities have a responsibility to be bridge of change, not guardians of the status quo. Imagine two students, one comes from an elite school with full facility and private tutoring, while the other comes from from a remote area has to work part-time and attend school in a place with limited facilities. If their score are the same, we can judge them equally. Instead, the underprivileged students have shown more grit, resilience, and potential. Giving them preference is not an injustice, but a form of contextual justice. And my last argument is that current performance is not just an absolute issue, but a relative one. The current admission system assumes that grades are objective indicators of intelligence and potential. In fact, grades are strongly influenced by several factors, which are quality of school, family support, mental health, and safety of the learning environment. A student with good grades at a top school may only show action in access, but not true brilliance. In contrast, students from challenging backgrounds who achieve slightly lower grades might actually demonstrate higher or learning ability, preferences, and adaptability, all more relevant predicators of long-term success than number alone. By shifting this focus of the quota to underprivileged students, we are not lowering standard, but broadening our understanding of what quality and potential are. And in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, the current system tends to continue to favor those who already have a head start. We want to correct this inequality. University quota should not serve to reinforce inequality, but to combat it. It is not about lowering standards, but redefining and excellence more comprehensively for the sake of justice, equal, and real progress. Lastly, as a Prime Minister, I invite this House to support this motion. Thank you.
That was the presentation of the topic by the Prime Minister. Next, we invite the opposition leader to deliver their argument for 7 minutes. Time is yours.
Thank you. Good morning to the panel judge, the government team, and everyone here. I am the first speaker from the opposition team. Today, we disagree with the motion says that this House believes that university admissions quota should prioritize underprivileged students over academic achievement. Early, the government team said that giving priority to underprivileged students is fair because they have strong determination and face many challenges. However, we believe that fairness cannot be reached if we ignore academic credits. If students are not prepared academically, they might struggle during lectures or even drop out of university. These would hurt students more than help them. We accepted that definitions from the government team, admission quotas are number of seats set aside. Underprivileged students are those from the low-income families, and academic achievement means test score or academic standards used in the selection programs. But even though we agree with the definitions, we still reject this motion because we believe the academic ability should be the main factors in university admissions. As the opposition team, we will explain 2 main points. First, the prioritized background over academic ability can reduce the quality and learn readiness of students. Second, that the real solutions to education inequality should start from early education, not just at the university level. Let me explain our first point. Universities are places where students need to be ready to study independently and understand the complex ideas. If someone is accepted only because of their stress, poor performance, and dropping out, in some places with the similar policies, many students will then finish their studies because they didn't get enough academic support. So, good intentions are not enough. Students still need to be prepared to success. For our second point, helping underprivileged students should start early. In primary and secondary school, we need to improve the quality of their schools, giving them scholarships and learning materials and long-term support. That way, they can reach university based on their own ability. And we don't have to lower the academic standards to help them. As the opposition team, I reject these motions. We believe that fairness can bring the same change to success from the beginning, not by ignoring the achievement, but by supporting all students so they completely fairly. Thank you.
Thank you, opposition leader, for your arguments. We now invite the Deputy Prime Minister to deliver their argument.
Thank you, Leader. Ladies and gentlemen, let me now respond to the argument brought forward by the leader of the opposition. First, they argue that prioritizing underprivileged students might lower academic quality and reduce housing stress or high dropout rates. But here's the problem with that argument: it assumes that underprivileged students are not capable. That is a dangerous assumption. In fact, many underprivileged students are just as intelligent and hardworking. They simply lack the same access, not ability. The quota system doesn't mean ignoring academic standard, it means adjusting criteria to include potential and context, not just the test scores. Even with high peculiar, students still have to pass the national selection. It's not a pre-pass, it's about recognizing merit in different forms. Second, the opposition say we should fix education disparities at the primary level instead. Of course, we agree that early education matters, but the students who are already in high school or about to graduate cannot wait 10 more years for the system to change. They deserve a fair change now. University admission quotas are an urgent solution for those who are already at the doorstep of higher education. Lastly, the opposition worries about fairness, but real fairness isn't about treating everyone the same, it's about recognizing an equal starting point. We don't lower the standard, we widen the gate so that the talent that grows in hard soil can still bloom. Second, affirmative action is not just a theory, it's already happening and it's working. In 2023, the Indonesian government gave high-peculiar scholarship to 44,928 students through the SMBP route. That number is not small. It shows that the government already understands the importance of helping underprivileged students access higher education. Not only that, President Jokowi said that more than 900,000 students have received high-impact kuliah so far. That's nearly 1 million students who now have a chance to change their future through education. Why is this important? Because education is one of the most powerful tools of the escape poverty. When one underprivileged student gets into university, we are not only helping them, we are giving hope and opportunity to their entire family and future generation. This is a long-term investment for the nation. The opposition might worry about the misuse, but don't worry, the system is already designed to prevent fraud. The Ministry of Education made a rule that every high kuliah recipient must be registered in the National University Database called Peredicti. This ensures that the scholarship goes to the right people and is used transparently. So this is not just a fake plan, it's a working policy with real control mechanism. Ladies and gentlemen, if we continue to judge students only by academic score, we will keep leaving behind those who never had fair chance to begin with. The education gap will widen and the cycle of poverty will continue. Prioritizing underprivileged students is not about lowering standards, it's about prioritizing justice. Academic excellence still matters, but opportunities matters more. Let's give every student not just the privilege but the real chance to change their future. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Prime Minister, for your argument. Next, we will invite the Deputy Opposition to deliver their argument. Thanks, please.
Okay, thank you, Moderator. I'm the Deputy Leader of the Opposition and I will continue our team stance in rejecting the motion that university admission quota should should prioritize underprivileged students over academic achievement. First, allow me to respond directly to the speech delivered by the Deputy Prime Minister. The government team said that fairness is not about giving everyone the same thing, but what they need. We agree, but what underprivileged students need is not special treatment at the end of the process. What they truly need is proper support from the very beginning. They also say that academic results often reflect privilege, not hard work, but that's not always true. Many students from underprivileged families work very hard and achieve great results. Removing academic merit would risk ignoring that hardworking students who actually succeed despite limitation. They mentioned that programs like KIP Kuliah are proof that affirmative action works, but this example actually proves our point. KIP Kuliah provides financial aids after students are accepted based on academic merit. It does not change the entry criteria itself. Even the system shows problem. According to BPK and Kompas in 2023, some KIP funds went to the students who were no longer active or did not meet the requirements. Universities like Barwijaya and ITS have tried to extra verification to fit this, but the issue shows that Indonesia data system is still improvement, never being used to decide the admission quotas. Next, I would like to add one more argument from the opposition teams. The effectiveness of affirmative action programs in Indonesia is still questionable. Take KIP Kuliah again as the example. It was created to help students from underprivileged families access university, but in the practice, JPPI and NU Online in 2024 report that KIP Kuliah is often misdirected to students who wealthier families because of weak verification and poor database management. Another report by Tempo in 2024 found that while penalty and other checks are used, loopholes remain and misuse continues. As the result, students who truly need help are left behind. This shows that policies based on economic background are not always fair or effective. If we don't have strong verification and academic support system, a quota system might create a new of unfairness. A student with great academic potential might be rejected because of the quota, and those accepted may not be fully prepared for the university life. To support what my teammate said earlier, we believe that best solution is not at the university gate, but at the very start of the education system. Support must begin from elementary and junior high school so that a student from a background, especially the underprivileged ones, can succeed through their own efforts and abilities. At its core, we reject this motion not because we don't care, but because we truly care. We want students to not only enter university, but to be ready and strong enough to start and success. That for us, it was fairness really means. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Opposition, for your argument. Next, we will invite the government whip to deliver their argument. Time is yours.
Thank you, Moderator. Ladies and gentlemen, before I read first the government case, allow me to respond to the opposition here. The deputy leader of the opposition argued that fairness means everyone meets the same standard. But how can that be fair when students do not start from the same place? Underprivileged students face real barriers like poor schools and lack of resources. And expecting the same outcomes ignores those struggles. Quotas do not lower standards, they help level the playing field. They also say that hardworking underprivileged students might be overlooked. But quotas actually help highlight their efforts by considering both their achievement and the context they come from. Lastly, they pointed out flaws in the KIP system, but that proved we need better implementation, not to give up on helping those in need. Waiting until the system is perfect means delaying justice for students already left behind. So, instead of focusing only on long-term reforms, let us take immediate action. Quotas are a step step toward real fairness, not against merit but for equal opportunity. Now, to reinforce our side, our Prime Minister established that definition clearly and explained that this motion corrects systemic injustice while aligning with the fundamental purpose of education to promote social mobility. And our Deputy Prime Minister brought solid data showing how affirmative programs like Kalimat Kuliah are already in place and are working. This proves the practicality and impact of such policies in real life. I would like to add that research from leading universities such as UCLA and the University of Michigan has shown that students admitted through contextual or affirmative action often perform equally well in the long run, precisely because they bring unique strengths and experiences to their studies. Ladies and gentlemen, this policy is not about charity. It is about recognizing real merit in knowledge first. Academic success should be measured not just by result, but by how far someone has come to achieve them. And that's why, for true fairness and long-term impact, we must prioritize underprivileged students through university quotas. Let us not forget the bigger picture. Education is one of the strongest tools we have to break the cycle of poverty. When we allow talented students from underprivileged backgrounds to access higher education, we are not just transforming individual lives, we are uplifting entire communities. These students often return to their roots as doctors, teachers, engineers, and leaders who give back, changing the trajectory of their families and neighborhood for generations. Opposition talk about equality as if it only exists in uniformity, but real equality takes equality into account. If we ignore the background and systemic obstacles someone has had to face, we're not measuring potential, we're simply rewarding privilege. Merit is not just about test scores, it's about determination, resilience, and progress despite adversity. And that kind of merit deserves a place in our universities. So today we urge this House to recognize that true justice requires proactive change. Quotas are not a perfect solution, but they're a necessary one. They are a tool to ensure that doors of opportunity are open to everyone, not just the privileged few. So I stand as a government team. Thank you.
Thank you, Government Whip, for your argument. Next, we will invite the Opposition Whip to deliver their argument. Time, please.
Thank you, moderator, for the time. I am the third speaker from the opposition team. My task today is to bring together our entire cast and directly address the key claims made by the government team. We firmly reject the motion that university admission quota should prioritize underprivileged students over academic achievement. Let me begin with a quick summary of our team stance. Our first speaker emphasizes that academic readiness is fundamental for success in university. Prioritizing students based only on their background without considering academic preparedness put them at risk of struggle or dropping out. Our second speaker clarified that fairness doesn't mean lowering the bar, but ensuring everyone has a fair opportunity to meet the same standard. They also highlight service flow in current affirmative action programs such as Kalimat Kuliah, which often suffer from misdirection and data insecurity. Now let's address the major clashes between our team and the government. So the first is, what is the true fairness, adjustment, or preparation? The government keeps saying the fairness means giving students what they need, not treating everyone the same, but we argue that real fairness doesn't mean adjusting the system at the end. It means preparing students properly from the beginning. Underprivileged students deserve strong educational support, not lower standards or symbolic gestures. And second is affirmative action and real-world impact. The government cites Kalimat Kuliah and claim it proper affirmative action work. However, our team presents evidence from BPK, Kompas, and Tempo that many of these programs are mismanaged.
it's proven to work, we respond not yet. The system still lacks the integrity to determine university quotes fairly. And the next is contextual merit or a new injustice. The government argued that we should see merit in context, appreciating how far students have come. We agree that information. But what happens to those underprivileged students who did beat the odds and achieved high scores? Will they be rejected because the quota is already filed by other women more disadvantaged? This is where a new kind of unfairness can emerge. And the last is no alternative. We guess the government accuses us of not offering solution, but we have. We provide long-term investment, improving primary and secondary education, providing scholarship, academic mentoring, and better teacher quality in rural areas. These are social solutions that empower underprivileged students to success through merit. Overall, we reject this motion not because we don't care, but because we deeply do. We want underprivileged students to enter, thrive, and graduate with pride, not with stress or unpreparedness. Let's support them from the start of the journey, not just the final gate. For this reason, the opposition team promptly reject the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, opposition. Wait for your arguments. Now is the reply speech session. You can bring out new arguments in this session. This session starts with the opposition team first. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you. I stand here as the reply speakers of the opposition team. And this final speech, I will summarize this debate and explain why our team has provided the most reasonable and fair solutions. This debate centers around two main pledges: fairness and effectiveness. First, about fairness. The government side told us that fairness means giving people what they need. We agree, but their version is fairness is giving university seats without ensuring academic credits. That is not helping, it is putting students at risk of failures. We, on the other hand, believe that real fairness is preparing students from the very beginning, giving them support in school, not just at the gate of university. Second, of effectiveness. We said affirmative action already works, and they gave KIP Mulia as an example. But we couldn't show how that system still has many problems. Funds going to the wrong people with data and poor verifications. Even the government needs is to fix the system. So, how can we build university admissions on top of something that's still broken? They also said we have no alternative, but we did. We offered clear solutions, improve basic education, give scholarships, and support long-term academic growth. That is not avoiding the issue, it is solving the root. Through this debate, we did not deny the importance of helping underprivileged students. We fully support the goal, but we believe help must come without sacrifice fairness, effort, and academic standards. We want students to success, not just enter university, but stay, learn, and graduate with pride. That is why we are proud to opposition these motions. Thank you.
Thank you, the opposition team, for your speech. Now, it's time for the government team to give their reply speech. Thank you.
demonstrate why the arguments of the opposition team are less strong and less capable of achieving the purpose of this debate compared to those presented by the government team by affirming that the opposition argument have been reviewed and the government team offers a more solid moral, factual, and practical foundation. First, the opposition's argument that giving quotas will lower academic standard has been disproved by the data and principle presented by the government team. The government team emphasizes that quotas do not mean neglecting academic standard but adjusting criteria to support potential and context. This is important because it maintains quality education while providing opportunities for those who are academically underprivileged but have the potential. Second, the criticism of affirmative systems such as IPK Kuliah raised by the opposition has been addressed by the government team, which show that these programs are already running effectively through strict regulation and transparency, including the use of national database pedagogy. Therefore, the system has been able to prevent issues and account for resources. Third, the opposition's argument that the focus should be on reforming primary and secondary education is challenged by the government team, which point out that currently there is an urgent need to provide fair access to students who are already on the verge of higher education because they cannot wait decades for education system be truly improved at the basic level. And last one, the oppositions argue that fairness principle must be equal for all. However, this was refuted by the government team, which affirmed that true fairness is providing opportunities for those who start from an equal position and expanding university through quotas is a practical form of justice at this moment. Thus, the argument of the government team are not only supported by the data, moral, and real-life experience such as IPK Kuliah program, but they also comprehensively address and dismantle the objection of the opposition. Therefore, I believe the government's position is superior because it presents a more fair, realistic, and oriented solution which namely achieving social justice and improving educational inequality. So, let us support this House effort as a real step toward positive change because justice and equal education are not just hopes, but a moral obligation that we must realize together. And let us take both a concrete action for a fairer and more progressive future. Lastly, I am as a government team and I invite you to support this motion. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the government team for your reply speech. The debate session has ended now. This is the time to educators to give their judgment. Thank you.
Thank you for the narrator. Now I will give my evaluation on the government side, starting from the Prime Minister Olga. Can be described as very defined and clear. All the defining definition is very clearly stated, the outline of the structure is clearly stated, and also provide the fundamental argument. As for the Deputy Minister, the focus on the detail and debate the case with fact and policy mechanism is very how to say that, very good. And for the government week, they reviewed final opposition points and the summarize of the government case and give powerful closing as a statement is very good also. The only thing that I want to criticize is the manner, although the argument is empowering each other, the previous one, but sadly the manner is not. I can see quite a bit of decline. As for the evaluation, the summary of the evaluation is the government side is very consistent. It maintains the idea like the quota is a tool, not for equity and not for charity alone. The argument also with redundancy, like I said before, empowering the previous argument, using the factual data and hypothetical example, and overall, it's a very good and very excellent side of the debate. Next to the opposition.
Okay, thank you moderator, thank you educator for the government. So I will give thank you for the both of you guys, the team for engaging in a structured debate, and overall the opposition team is a very solid in argumentation and strategy class management. And I like to offer some suggestion for you to further improvement. Okay, so for the leader, your framing was very nice and clear, but could be even stronger if you explicitly stating what the burden of proof the government must fulfill. And for to the deputy, your rebuttal is excellent and use of sources, which is good. But next time, amplify the real-time harm of misguided policies with more concrete impacts in Indonesia. And to the whip, great job in summarizing clash point. You mentioned that the first speaker and second speaker said that blah blah blah, and moving forward, sharpen the weighting between the impacts. It made clear why your harms outweigh theirs. And for the last, which is the reply speaker, I think you have to more consistent and focus. And I suggest you to integrate a bit more emotional appeal, so you can add some rhetorical emotion or rhetorical emphasis at the end to leave lasting impressions. So overall, your team that not only defends a position but offers a vision that is long-term and data-informed and also ethically grounded. So good work and congratulations for yours, and move into next educators.
Thank you, moderators. Thank you, educators, for the opportunity. And all in all, I appreciate that both teams listen to each other's points and not just focus solely on their own sides, which is the golden standard of a proper debate or even a proper conversation in a human interactions. Okay, so thank you everyone for this greatly structured debate and compact detail from each side of the government and opposition. Thank you.
After the consideration of the adjudicators, now we enter in the announcement of the winner, and the winner will announced by the adjudicators.
Thank you, madam. So, the winner of this Australasian debate is the government team. Congratulations, congratulations. And now, the best speaker goes